One of the best history classes I ever took was on Jacksonian era America in college, and it was the time from like 1820 all the way up to the Civil War. And we should talk about that era in America more. First of all, Andrew Jackson was the victim of the Electoral College. He was the first person who outstandingly won the popular vote, but they decided behind the scenes to give it to Nepo baby John Quincy Adams. And if you're looking for someone in history who is an always the bridesmaid, never the bride figure, look no further than Henry Clay. That man should have been president like 4 different times, and they just kept telling him, like, next time it'll be you. And it never was. Andrew Jackson himself is a monster, and his era of politics is fascinating because he dismantled the banks, but it didn't fall apart until his vice president, Martin Van Buren, took over in the 1830s and is blamed for the collapse of the system, which was Hamilton's system, which we no longer have. But it wasn't actually his fault. It was, his old boss. I think America doesn't really know how to teach about the Civil War because I think America doesn't really know how to teach about its history. I think we were getting somewhere with the 1619 Project. But unfortunately, that has obviously been derailed because critical race theory for college students was seen as too much for them to handle. There is shameful stuff in our history. We do need to discuss it. And if we learn about it, we can also learn about how and why we should never do it again. And the more afraid we are of history, the more likely we are to repeat it. History is full of cycles, and you can see them happening. Patterns recur. And the thing is, we're supposed to learn the pattern and then learn what to do instead. In traditional theory, conservatives believe that we should just do what we've always done because we at least know the results of that, even if it doesn't work that well. And progressivism is about trying new things in case those work better. And taking information and new things that we've learned or patterns that we've recognized and how we can correct them, and then trying that instead. The world does lean towards progressivism. We are always trying new things. Humans like improvement. And I just feel like we're in a time right now where we are so stagnant and everybody has been taught to be afraid of information. And I just really wish that history was, it's that we learn incorrect information because they're like, well, how do we teach children about what America's origins actually are? So instead they just kind of like whitewash everything and then you have to unlearn it, which I think is weirder than just being like, history was a really complicated time. Like, kids like complicated things. So I don't have a solution, but I do think that the Jacksonian era is really understudied. There were riots like every single day. There was a ton of enslaved people's rebellions. It was a very fascinating time. So if you're interested in history, I recommend reading some books about it.